So it's been a little while since I've released a video. Realized that. I've been waiting for 12.2 to get dropped to my car. I had 11.2 previously, and 11.2 just did not work well on my car. So far 12.2 seems to be a little bit better. So I figured I would take it down to Old Town Fredericksburg, see how it does down here. So this is good, it's getting in the correct lane here. The right lane only goes right, left lane goes around the roundabout. Okay, it's stopping, so I'm kind of pushing it through because I've got cars behind me. But just had to tap it. Yeah, it was actually pretty quick through the roundabout after I tapped it, so that's not bad. Yeah, in the previous version with the smaller street with cars coming the other direction, it would definitely slam the brakes on. It does drift a bit wide in this intersection, but still within the lane. No hesitation, no phantom braking. This version is so much better so far. I expected to go around here. It is not. Yeah, I would think I would go around. Well, I was about to take over if we had too many people behind us, but there was enough room to squeeze around to the right. Because sometimes it does that, sometimes it doesn't. Alright, so we need the right lane here. It's currently in the turn lane. So let's see what it does up here. Okay. Still not getting to the right lane. This is left only. Nope, it figured it out. Alright. Huh. Alright, not too bad. Figured it out there at the last minute. And it seems to want to pass this person because they're drifting to the left. Interesting. We're going to make a left turn here. See what it does for this truck. Is it going to swing in front of it? It is. Yeah, it measured that pretty well. I would have basically taken the same thing. The truck was far enough away. Previous versions, it would not have taken that. So far, so good. Let's see how it does. See if it does a right on red here. Okay. Kind of tapped it through because that car was about to go, I think, and I didn't want to get in front of anybody. It's doing well around these unmarked spots. Wanted to go left or go around this car there for a second. I seem to be real hesitant about getting in this left lane. Yeah, it's so much smoother around these parked cars. Previous versions, it would kind of jitter on the brakes every now and then. Hopefully this wide angle with this recording is a little bit better than the normal ones. So down a hill and to the left with cars parked on both sides. It detects those people. Nice sharp corner there. Well done. That was pretty impressive. So this kind of splits for the turn here. That's interesting. There's like this concrete divider right there. Wow. Why would they put that in the middle of the road? You can see that lots of people have nailed that, but it seems to have figured it out. Now it says left on red arrow after stop up there. There's nobody behind me, so I'm going to let it wait until the green arrow, unless someone comes behind me. That car kind of tripped it up a little bit. Ooh! Now it's swerving around a little. See if it makes it into this parking lot. Okay. And it's picking a different one. Okay. We'll go ahead and take over here. Alright. So we'll go to the Rising Sun Tavern Museum here. It is creeping and creeping and creeping and creeping right into the intersection. So I had to stop there. It definitely should have held on and waited there for that car to go by. I like that it's more aggressive, but it creeps into the intersection a little too far, in my opinion. Alright, so we're at a two-way stop. One way to the left. Ooh, there we go. Ah, good. We're gonna make a left here with lots of people. This should be a good challenge for it. Is it gonna go? It's gonna go. Yep, it's gonna go. There we go. Not too bad. It was pretty clear that people weren't there, but it definitely is being extra cautious around people, and that's a good thing. Much prefer that right now. Okay, this car is doing a parallel park, and it was just scooting right up behind it. So, interesting case there. It would have just sat there. I think it may have eventually gone around that car, but they wouldn't have been able to pull into the spot with how close the car was to it, how close Tesla was to it. Alright, don't know why it's stopping here. Oh, I'm pressing it through because cars come up behind me. I don't know if because that other car stopped, it thought it was a stop sign or what. That was kind of unusual. And here we are. Let's go to this parking area. Cool. Should take us down where some folks are. Yeah, these little pillar things are kind of odd. Ooh, it was close to one. Don't think it was going to hit it, but it was inches. Might hit the download button to see how close that was to the curb. Those little cement things they stuck out there. Not sure what benefit those would provide except damaging your wheels. And here again, it seemed to really want to get far out into that intersection. Alright, you can go now. Oh wow, that was an interesting situation. Car pulling out, backing up, and a lady getting out of her car all at the same time. It managed to do that okay. Another one of those concrete things. Because it's where the cars park. Is it just blocking that area or something? I don't know, it's weird. Alright, and the scooter cut us off, and it did a good job of slowing down and not slamming on the brakes. It was nice that it stayed in this lane because everyone's turning left here. So slow down a little bit when that guy pulled out after his light had turned red, but continued to move forward smoothly. Previously maybe not 11.2, but earlier versions would have slammed on the brakes there, so pretty happy with that so far. Alright, it either needs to get over or not get over. Hopefully it doesn't do it. Okay, so paused for those folks. It stayed on the right side. It saw that sign, a bollard thing, and then waited until it got after it. It went behind it to move over. So that was actually really impressive. Nice decision-making process there. Cutting this one a little bit close. Slow down a little too much. Had to kind of tap it through there because there was a car flying up behind me. Somebody got some nice big pizzas. I gave them plenty of room. Alright, tapping through here. Oh my goodness, car, come on. Alright. I don't know what that was about, but I tried to tap it through and then it slammed on the brakes again. Okay, so we're at our spot here. James Monroe Library. Sure, let's give that a try. Okay. A little bit jerky around that corner. This is very tight. Cars are not in those, or their spots are very small on the right side of the road. And someone parallel parking here. Let's see how it does here. There it goes around them. Yep, it started to go, and then they started to pull forward, so I kind of pulled around it. It probably would have taken care of that on its own okay, but this felt a little uncomfortable. They waved. Little do they know, the computer's driving. All right. As soon as they crossed over the middle area, did a great job of pulling around. So that's much smoother. It used to wait until someone was okay. All right. I don't know what that was about. Kind of dove to the right side of the road there. It's definitely being more aggressive than previously, but it seems to be making better decisions for the most part. Definitely better than 11.2. Alright, so that was a good right turn. Got another right turn here. You can make a right on red. Don't know why it touched the brakes like that. Well, did a good job of pulling into that parking lot, slowing down for that big bump. Cool. That was well done. Though it took me to a bank instead of library. Yeah, let's go to the Chatham Manor. Don't know what that is. Wow, this is a nice tight little area. See if I can get out of this. I can kind of see with the mirrors that there's nobody here. It says it's creeping forward, and it is. There's somebody doing a parallel parking there. I had to kind of tap it a little bit there. And it made it through. Don't know what, yeah. Probably gave that guy a little bit too much time. But not too bad. Not too bad. Double left here. Nice job. Nice job. Okay. Wonder if it will make it through this gravel driveway. That would be cool if it was able to do that. Oh my God, it's doing it. That's crazy. It doesn't quite know what it's doing, but it's making it through it. Kind of stop there. Yeah, it's a little rough for it to drive on its own. Well, what the heck? Gotta try it out, right? Nope. It's getting a little close to that edge. Probably let it do it if there wasn't these little ruts in the side. Alright. Let's see what it can do here. Max it out at 10 miles an hour here. See how it does. There you go, a little FSD on a dirt driveway road thing. Now it's got its turn signal on. Don't know where it's going. Try it again here. Oh, there's some holes there. Seems to do okay. Really close to this car in front of us. Doesn't need to be that close. It's driving. Is it gonna make it between these posts? Sure is. Looks like it's gonna make it out on its own. Unbelievable. Alright, nope, it's confused. Alright, so we'll get out of here, and then we'll let it do its thing after that. Well, there you go. That was a little unexpected. Back across the bridge towards Old Town. Didn't say anything about no right on red, so it should be okay to do it. Alright, so very sharp left turn here. Let's see how it does. Kind of came up to it, and yeah, that was kind of robotic. You would kind of expect it to cut the corner a little bit, since that's a one-way road, and instead it kind of went up to the end of it. Alright, it's a little bit hard to see from the left here, but did pretty good there. Right. A little bit of a slowdown there. Right. This bollard thing here. A little hesitant on what it needed to do, but because that car came up, but overall not too bad. Good job staying away from those cars. Would have expected it to stay to the left side of the road here. Instead it's kind of to the right. Not that you could fit two cars in here, but generally you just, well, it's giving some way to this truck that's parked here for other cars to get through. I wonder if that was intentional. That would be amazing. These trucks right here are very close, or this truck, to the yellow line, and you can see the car is over to the right side of this lane. I wonder if it did that intentionally. That would be very impressive if it did that intentionally. Nice clean unprotected left turn there. Model S. Not sure about these people. Alright. Yeah, I kind of had to step on the accelerator a little bit there. It does see those concrete things, so that's good. It actually shows them on the display too. It was red. Got a bicyclist here. See how it does. A car on the left that's preventing us from changing lanes. Nice, smooth. Okay, that made it a little awkward. Kind of slowed down next to him. That was weird. Give him plenty of space, but definitely odd things like very computerish. Normally a person would not pause next to somebody they're passing, they would accelerate past them. So still some improvement there, but again, giving them the space and picking the right time to go around, it's making all the right decisions, and that's good. It's going to have to turn left. And it's going to get in front of that person. Impressive. Ooh. Really close to that cone. Too close to that cone. Alright, I took over. Just because it was doing some funky stuff. It was way too close to that cone. I mean, it missed it, but it was inches. And it didn't need to. Alright, and still treating yields like stops. So that's confirmed then. Definitely still treating yields like stops. Right. Cool. Alright, so let's find another spot. Continue trip. Yeah, accelerating aggressively in these little tiny streets is not necessary. So it's a little overly aggressive in some of these areas that it doesn't need to be. And I'm glad that it's, and then it was, yeah, glad that it commits, but it started to slow down, and she stopped. It started to speed up again. So, but she waved like we were letting her through, so I didn't want to then allow it to accelerate again and get into that stop-go thing. All right, it's creeping. It's creeping. Okay. Alright, that figured itself out with that guy. Yeah, I'm really putting it through its paces, obviously. I was thinking about making a left turn. Yeah, wasn't a bad idea. I think it saw that car coming out and it wasn't quite sure what it should do, but it picked the right thing. Lots of people around for it to have to pay attention to. Alright, so I think let's do this real quick, see if it changes. See, that was pretty impressive. I changed the path and it turned its turn signal off. Now we're going to the next corner. Ooh, we do see the door open. Sweet. I don't know if I'll be able to zoom in on that or not, but it did actually see the door open on the display, and it turned to the right a little bit. So we're back to the corner with a funky turn here. Sooner or later, they're going to have to read these signs. Not sure if they're reading them now and just not acting on them, but that's going to be very complicated. There's probably thousands and thousands of scenarios there of how those signs can be written and what they mean and things like that. Now we got a bicyclist up here. See how it does on this. Interesting. So it swerved back when it saw this guy on this motorcycle. Yeah, I know. You think we're going to hit something, but we're not. So these motorcycles pulled up around the side of me before I was passing that car. Oh my goodness, that was a sharp turn. That was a little aggressive. Yeah, I did change the address, but it really shouldn't have done that. Alright, it doesn't know whether this car is stopped or not. Still trying to figure it out. Alright, we're gonna... do one more and then I think we'll call it for Fredericksburg. But anyway, I was saying these motorcycles that are actually right there. Ooh. Wow, it made it around that corner that time. That was the one that had the concrete barrier things very close to it. This motorcycle started to pull around me even though the car was starting to drift around, and then it immediately pulled back behind the bicyclist. This is a tough one to see around. Yeah, I'm sure it would stop, but man, it just feels like it's creeping too much. Alright. There isn't really a turn area here. That's all parking, I think. So it's good, it waited. Alright. Very well. Very good. It doesn't display those posts, the yield for the crosswalk signs, though it definitely sees them because I can feel it avoiding them, and clearly it's avoiding them. Just doesn't display them. I was going to have to get to the left up here. And it's kind of waiting. Alright, that's not bad. Wish there wasn't somebody behind me so I could see what it would do up here. And I got real close to the cones the last time. See if it gets that close again. Nope, it's alright. It's trying to get away from those cones. Alright. Well, I think we'll probably call it there. It did pretty good. I mean, these streets are pretty small. The cars parked on the side make it really difficult for the car. I don't know if the new camera angle kind of helps show how tight some of those roads are with the cars, and lots of people around. All in all, I think it did pretty well. Obviously, we had some disengagements and based on mainly left-hand turns where it just felt like it was creeping a little too far for me. But other than that, I think 12.2 is a pretty good improvement. So yep, definitely 12.2 is a huge improvement over 11.2. Just a huge improvement. Still some areas for it to improve. Again, I gotta get used to it. See if that creeping for left turns is just me being too cautious, or if it's actually going. As I get more comfortable with it on what it's doing, then I'll do another video here. Alright, thanks for watching.